Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for being here today. Go ahead and get started. We'll just check in first. Arlene, you want to go?
I will, that's fine. Good afternoon, I'm Robert Dodig, I am well. We have Dr. Kurtz, Dr. Desamore, Desamours, Barbara Sedania, and I think Chorus McIntosh, who may be here, I'm not sure. Oh, and Teresa Bowen. I don't know if they're gonna be here or not, Kevin, so you can leave those. Chorus will not be here. I have no time constraints except the Giants pick may be around 9 o'clock tonight in the NFL draft, so. No elephants and expectation make progress.
Hello, my name is Christine Schroed. I am the new Director of Labor and Employee Relations. I think this is my first bargaining session of this year. So I am doing well tonight. Missing has been noted. I do not have any time constraints, no elephants, and same expectation to make progress.
Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Kelfie. I'm the Director of Payroll. I'm doing well. No time constraints, no elephants, and expectations make progress.
Good afternoon, Fernando Vasquez, Director of Professional Standards, doing well. The missing have been noted, no time constraints, no elephants, and make progress.
We'll see if I can beat that. Got the stopwatch going. My name's Roger Lloyd, I'm doing well. I'm the Executive Director of Transportation. Missing has been noted. I have no time constraints, no elephants, and I'd like to continue to make progress.
I'm Cheryl Neely, Executive Director, School Development. The missing are missing. I have a time constraint of 6 p.m. and I have no elephants, and expectations be present and make progress.
Good evening, my name is Candy Messenger, Director of Food and Nutrition Services. Missing has been noted. No time constraints, no elephants, and my expectation is to be present.
Good afternoon, I'm Alex Dorozanski, Principal of Harns Marsh Middle School. I'm doing great. Missing's noted. I have a time constraint as well at 6 o'clock, no elephants, and expectations to keep on making progress.
Or at least that's they have it. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Alex.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Arlise. I am the president of SPALC. I am doing well. Missing is Lois DeBay, Deborah Evans, Vicki Davis, and Jacqueline. I cannot see her last name. Lineberg.
Who was the other one? Lois, Deborah, and who was it? Vicki.
Vicki
Thank you.
Davis. Deborah Evans, Vicki Davis. You got Jacqueline?
I got you.
Okay. No time constraints, no elephants, and my expectation is to get as much done as possible tonight.
Good afternoon, my name is Patrice Scopes. I'm the VP of Instructional Support. Missing has been noted, and Kurt's head is in the way.
Is that elephant?
Your elephant in the room. Time constraint, also 6 p.m., 6 a.m. No elephants in the room, and expectations, I'm gonna go with be present.
Hello, my name is Roger Wilson. I'm SPALC Vice President. I'm doing great. Missing has been noted. Green Bay pick has the 25th pick. So, yeah, no time constraints, no elephants, expectation, make progress.
Good afternoon, my name is Chris Cox. I'm doing well. Missing's been noted. I have no time constraints, no elephants, and I'd like to make progress as well.
Hi, I'm Laura Rosen, bookkeeper for Island Coast High School. I'm doing well. Missing, we already know. Time constraints, no. Elephants, none. Expectation, let's make progress.
Okay, so I'm Kurt Fazzone. I'm the director of the Teachers Association of Lee County, serving as the facilitator. I'm fine. Missing noted, I don't have any time constraints, for the direct. No elephants and hoping to depart.
My name is Amy French, I'm doing well. I don't have any time constraints, nor do I have any elephants, and my expectation is to help you complete all of your expectations. Okay, so first thing on our agenda tonight are minutes. So any April 2nd minutes. You guys should all have a copy of that. Does anybody have any comments, questions, clarifications on the minutes? Okay.
Very minor. On page 2, number 3 under options, 11.02. Should that say spells out HSA versus HAS for health spending account?
Yes. Thank you. So it should say FS or HSA.
HSA, correct.
Or probably auto-corrected that. And we're wondering why you're capitalizing. Okay. Any other questions, comments, clarifications on the minutes? Okay. Can we get approval of the minutes with a show of thumbs up? This already on the roll. Orange circle to start. Yes. No, it's usually the options. Okay, I do have Article 7 work schedule at the top of the agenda. Is that true?
I think we got some confusion. Arlise and I spoke earlier today.
Okay.
I can't talk about 7 tonight because Barbara Sedano is not here.
Okay.
So I have to defer.
Okay.
And then I think Arlise had an item, but it was in 10, not 7. So we just
So we're okay with,
put that on there by mistake, frankly.
we're okay with striking 7 from the agenda? Okay, thank you. All right, so the next thing I have up here is Article 10, compensation.
Could we, and it's up to Arlise, but could we just approve the Article 11 language that Mr. Robichaud presented previously? Okay.
Are you okay with that, Arlise?
Yes, can we just go, do we have that information?
Yeah, it's actually in the minutes we just approved,
Okay.
options 1 through 7.
Let's just write options 1 through 7. Yeah. Any questions, concerns, comments about this? You said you wanted to test the language on these?
I would like to test options 1 through 7 from our April 2nd meeting.
Okay, so call the test. Are you all ready to test, or do you have any questions or concerns for us? Ready to test?
And just so everybody knows, because my team doesn't know either, we talked about this in SPALC labor management also.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll go ahead and call for the test then. For the benefits, options 1 through 7 language. Okay, a second orange circle in like 16 minutes. I think it might be. Okay, now, Article 10. And we have the snapshot for Article 10 on the back wall here. Our interests were recruitment, retention, fairness for employees, compression, competitiveness, student achievement, morale, Be mindful wages by FY25, so July 1st. To finish ASAP, make sure employees get retro and agreement by the end of April. We had a data request of the youth mental health training. Who does this impact? So go ahead and start, Rob.
I would just like to respond to something on there, just so, and I don't anticipate this happening, but I do want SPALC to know that there is a commitment from the district, if we go past July 1st, that we would pay retro, including on overtime. So I just want that to be stated on the record.
Thank you for clarifying that, Arlise.
Can you say that again?
We're gonna capture it.
After, if we don't have an agreement, which I know we will, but if we don't, by July 1st, we will pay retro, including on overtime.
Thank you. Okay, who would like to start on Article 10? I don't, which part are we, guess what? Is it the Evergreen Salary Study?
So I'll let Arlise talk in a second. We have a presentation regarding the salary study, but if they want some issues to address first, we're fine with that. Arlise did mention to me earlier today the Safe Driver Plan and potentially incentives. So the floor is hers.
Okay, go ahead, Arlise.
We can do the slideshow, that's fine. And I just want everybody to know I'm not playing with my phone. I have some notes on here too. So if you see me look at my phone, that's why.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, so before I get it up here on the board, I just want folks to know, and this is essentially where we're at with Evergreen. We have received some preliminary information from them. We have put together, with the help of Dr. Desamore, who's not here today, but she obviously is the Chief Financial Officer. We've put together a short, relatively short PowerPoint presentation, essentially showing you all where we're at with some data, which could potentially lead to our further conversation. So here's where we're at with Evergreen. We have completed the first 3 steps of this 4-step process. So employee outreach, we've completed the job assessments, and they have completed the market survey. The recommendations, or solutions as they sometimes refer to them, will be coming here hopefully in the next week or so. We have a meeting scheduled with them next Thursday. So those are the 4 steps. Just to recap what they've done, and I know you all know this because a lot of you took part in this, but back in December, they did focus groups, 316 SPALC employees, meaning they didn't necessarily have to be members, but they were employees governed by the SPALC contract, participated in the focus groups. The online survey, we had 3,228 employees submit a survey, so about a third of our district employees did surveys. The numbers, although maybe not statistically huge, Evergreen has told us are enough people participated to create reliable data for what they're doing. And I look at Mr. Calvi because he can jump in here at any time because he's helped me with this. The job assessments, folks participated in those from January to February 2024 for gaining understanding of the true responsibilities of what the positions are that people are doing. I will tell you that we had over 5,000 job assessment tools completed. So about half of our employees did them. Now, these are who we asked Evergreen to compare us to when it comes to determining market for salaries. So the School Board of Lee County obviously is us. Then we asked them to compare us to the City of Cape Coral, Brevard, Broward, Charlotte County, but also Charlotte County Schools, the City of Fort Myers government, Collier County Schools, Duval, Hillsborough, Manatee, Miami-Dade, Orange, Osceola, Palm Beach, Pasco, Pinellas, Polk, and Sarasota. The counties that are crossed out, and Hillsborough should be crossed out, and so should Orange, just the way the graphic showed up. Those counties did not provide us enough data to use them in the market survey. All of the other entities provided us all of the data that Evergreen requested. The numbers to the right are the cost of living index, I can't remember that term, for the various areas in the state. The higher the number, the higher the cost of living. The mean cost of living is 100. So if you look at this, Osceola, Pasco, Charlotte, and Polk fall below the mean, and the rest of the entities are above the mean, and Lee County is at 104. So there are clearly, some of the folks we've used to compare our salaries, there are clearly communities, including Collier, where their cost of living is much higher than ours. So this is just statistics from Evergreen that they provided to us for our comparison peers to determine where our salaries fall. Basically, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where our salaries fall. Now, keep in mind, these would have been N, SPALC, and administrative positions. So that these figures are based on those three employment areas. So at the 40th percentile, if someone was paying their employees at the 40th percentile, like on a lot of positions we are, those positions fall 1.5% below the midpoint. So those folks, in essence, in a very small fraction, are underpaid compared to the market. If we get to the 50th percentile, which we have as a desire to do as a district, our positions are about 5% below the midpoint. And that's district-wide, or at least in those three groups. But of course, SPALC's a part of that. So that's, and it goes up to 88% in the 60th percentile. So this is where we will be getting the individual positions. So if you're a carpenter, if you're HVAC, if you're a bus driver, we will be getting the individual positions and where they fall in these market percentiles, whether they have a negative or a positive or they're neutral. And they could be paid exactly the way the market is calling for them to be paid. But that is the information we will be receiving in the next several days from Evergreen. Yeah, so just to make clear, when I use the term market, I'm talking about these folks we compare to. And then when we say market rate, that's probably how Chris is currently paid. Those are two different phrases, but the same word. So I just want to sort of clarify, probably made it more confusing, but that's just, this is the market survey data, meaning coming from the different places that we compared ourselves to. So what are our next steps? So Evergreen is going to make recommendations for new salary schedules. So what does that mean? No, that doesn't mean anybody's leaving SPALC. We're not taking anybody out of SPALC. What it means is they are not fans of, and neither are we, of having a grade and step system and a market rate system. We want everybody to be on the same system. They have talked about what is called an open range system. So you have a minimum and a maximum, and you make somewhere in between there. And Kevin can explain this better to me, better than I can. He's a payroll director. But they have talked about that. We haven't seen that. They haven't provided that to us yet. But that is something they are going to work on. We are also interested, and this is down the road, in seeing a way to incorporate performance or merit into the pay of employees. So if you're a really good employee, in some way you can get rewarded for that. We don't currently do that for SPALC. We really only do it for teachers and admin. So some of the other things that they're going to recommend are possible reclasses of positions. That really wouldn't apply to you all. You're still going to be on the SPALC schedule. But there may be some people that are misplaced. There may be someone that should not necessarily be in a clerk position, they should be in an analyst position, or something to that effect. They also have recommended, which isn't on here, some changes to names of certain jobs. Like, for instance, a sites worker. That is an old-fashioned name. The current name is groundskeeper. So why shouldn't we call that person a groundskeeper? So, just like I think we still call them bus operators, but they're really bus drivers. But that's, society evolves and names change. So they've asked us to look at a few of the names of certain jobs, which of course, if they're in your unit, we will talk to you all about. We're not gonna, so that's the bottom bullet, barring the recommendations that they make, they being Evergreen, to come to a decision. Now, we have presented to you all, 5% is our bargaining authority. We all, as two teams together, have to determine whether or not we want to put any of that money into the positions that may be below grade on their data that they provide us. I can't answer that for you. I know we have a desire at some point to move forward in a progressive way with making all of our positions at the 50th percentile. We know that can't be done in 1 year. So, but we're here to talk about that. So we do believe that the results of this study are going to be very helpful to the district moving forward. With that, Kevin, do you want to say anything?
So one of the things is the mechanics behind any of this. So what we're trying to do is create a transparent way for employees to know where they will be on the salary schedule, knowing how you progress in the salary schedule, and then what happens when you meet those different milestones. So if you reach your cap, what does that mean if there's a salary increase or different things like that? And that's what we can talk about.
So with that, I'll open it up to questions if you guys have any.
Okay, on market rate, how do you get the market rate? Because, and people that are on market rate, they really aren't at market rate.
Well,
So how
first of
does that
all,
work?
and I knew this would be confusing tonight. The one thing I don't want to get us tied up with is our current market rate, because we have a desire to see that gone. So, but they determined market rate. It's not us, it's the company that we retain. If you look at those folks, they basically looked at a position, like you're a bookkeeper, right? So they looked at a similar position in all of those entities and determined where they fell compared to your position. Those were these are the entities that they use to define our market. So I can't tell you the intricacies of how they.
And this is Evergreen.
Correct, yes, yes. And Evergreen has told us that they would be more than happy to discuss when all of their results are done, their methodology and how they did all that. But I'm pretty certain that's how they did it.
So my question is though, but like the people that are at market rate now.
Yes.
My position isn't, but the other ones
Yes.
below me are. And how was that determined by the district?
Okay, so in the past, we've used a computer programming company called ERI, which stands for the Employment Research Institute. And they conduct and determine, they conduct research all over the country and use the Department of Labor statistics and other things to do exactly what Evergreen just did here locally. And we use that, that's how we determined market in the past.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are they taking into account experience levels? I'm hearing you say that.
Hold the microphone a little closer, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Are they taking into account experience levels? I'm hearing the 50%, but I'm not hearing how they're.
So I'll try to answer it the best I can. So there's going to be a range, and that range applies to that position that you're holding. And then there's also longevity throughout the district, and that would be a separate item. But your knowledge level in the position, that is being considered of where you would be placed on that range.
I think he means this. Is that what you mean, Chris?
Well, I'm referring, you're saying.
Refer to Evergreen, are they taking into account?
Right, is Evergreen taking into account experience? I mean, I get, that's what you guys did with the market rate. You put everybody at the 50% mark, which.
So the 50th percentile for your knowledge in the current position.
Correct.
It's not. So if I walked into your position and I had 1 year of experience and you had 20, I would be a lot less in that range.
Okay, that.
But it would show eventually how I could get to your salary throughout the years.
Similar to a step system at this point. I mean, that's.
So there is the similarity to that. It's just how we want to implement it. Do we want to do potentially a COLA or an across-the-board thing each year? Do we want to have merit in there as well? So if you are an excellent employee and on the low end, over the years you can get to a higher part of that range quicker. So those are the things that we need to figure out.
I had one more question as well. This is in regards to the overtime and stuff. Are you using that in your calculations? I think you did on the market rate scenario.
Could you elaborate a little bit more so I can?
Sure, I don't believe you should be using overtime statistics, not as it comes from here, to match it up with other entities at this point, because it would be an unfair.
So I can't necessarily speak on that, but I'm sure the statistics, when they come back, they'll see how much, or if any, that had involvement in the numbers that were given.
Any other questions, comments?
Just to add to that point, when it comes to all these peers, we would have to ask Evergreen, I don't want to answer for them, if they asked those entities about overtime. Did those figures that those entities gave you include overtime? I don't know the answer to that.
It's a variable that you can't really.
Right, no, I understand. So they come more than likely did not, but.
What other story do we have for this? Do we have any options or anything?
So, I mean, this was for informational purposes, and we have a session set for Monday, but I don't believe we're gonna have any additional data before then. So, what I am hoping, Arlise, is that at Wednesday's labor management meeting, we can potentially, we may have more information. So Kevin, myself, and Dr. Desmore will be there to possibly provide you with information about specific positions. But that's not till Wednesday, so we won't have it for Monday, I know that.
Thank you.
Do we have any other comments, questions? Do we have any more for Article 10, compensation? Yes, go ahead.
I do have a question. So, Rob, when Evergreen is ready, can we get them to come in to do a presentation so our folks can absolutely understand everything that's going on with it?
I wanna say yes, so I'll say possibly yes. I mean, they're not local necessarily, so their people aren't here in Lee County, so it would take some planning. I think a couple of them are in Tallahassee, so I think we could probably manage some of that. Yeah, of course, we want you all to know what's going on, obviously.
All right, thank you.
Chris?
Just one more question. Am I to understand that it's the school board's intention to try to close the gap on this depression issue at this point with looking at experience levels?
Yeah, and Kevin can certainly speak to more of this. I think there is a good chance if we can eventually get to the 50th percentile with our positions, that may take care of some of the compression. In addition, if we go to a different salary schedule model, that may take care of some. Right now, what we're doing is not sustainable with the two schedules. I mean, it's just, we haven't added positions to market, we haven't taken any away, and we still have a lot on step and grade. And Evergreen, when they looked at this initially at first blush, that was like the first thing they said we needed to change, and they were gonna make recommendations for that. So yeah, I think there is a desire from the school board to try to help with compression. Sure there is. And I'll just reiterate, I don't wanna dwell on the negative, but I know with the significant raise last year, there was concern that none of that went to necessarily helping with that. So I don't know if Kevin wants to say anything else.
So one of those things that you're describing, is it time in position, time in district, or time in the division to potentially, or all of the above, to have an influence on that?
I'm sorry, are you asking me, or are you, okay, yeah, that would be all of the above. We're looking to see what.
So one of the ways that we're doing time in district is through the longevity. And that's a separate, and it would follow you with whatever position you would be in. And then experience within the position that you are, that's where you would be placed in that range. And people would be placed in different areas of that range based on your experience in the position.
Okay, and that's, I think you answered that. That's again, I have to constantly, to be quite honest with you, I was prepared to ask a question, how do you guys justify the differences in pay scale at this point? But you know, those that have been here for quite a bit of time, again, those of us that get caught in the compression, and that's a hard thing to, you know, I'm hoping we can give these people some hope at this point. It's going to be brought back to where it should be.
Just to kind of elaborate on that, some of the difficulties that I see is the reclassification of positions or different things throughout the years as they morph through time. It didn't necessarily mean that you changed what you were doing. It's just that we called it different things over the years, and how to make sure we incorporate that as in your experience level. And those are the areas where I think it's going to be hard.
Any other comments, discussion on the salary schedule study?
I just feel the most, I mean, until we really get information, it's kind of like going in a circle. Because without the information, we really can't agree on anything, or we need the data to see, you know, so that everyone can truly understand. I think it's a great idea that Arlise, you know, have Arlise made a comment about Evergreen presenting to our folks so that they can understand, you know, because going from steps to market rate, a lot of folks didn't understand. And it did cause a compression and things like that, which I understand we're trying to correct that issue now. So we need the data to move forward.
Thank you, Ryder.
Yeah, and just so you know, we're in the same boat, so I agree with you. It's hard to come here tonight and talk about compensation without knowing exactly what that looks like. I totally concur, and we've done our best. I mean, it is only April, and we're still working, so I want to think positive. I don't know, you know, you guys, I haven't probably even had a conversation maybe you have philosophically about putting money into the salary study results or into just a pay raise or how that should look. I mean, because I think those are the conversations which Kevin alluded to earlier. that we're gonna have to have. But it's hard to talk about that without knowing. So we could very easily come back to you all and say, it's only gonna cost $500,000 to get all your people up to the market. I don't know that, but it could be 3 million or 4. So then obviously your priorities change. So that's what we hear, that's where we have to get to.
Thank you. Arlise?
I just wanted to say thanks for the information. So Rob, I was looking back from our labor management, right? So did your team have interest in that Safe Driving Award?
Well, I was talking to my folks here that deal with it, which is Candy and Roger. And I didn't even know this, so Candy told me that anybody that drives more than 50% of the time in her group receives it. So I'm not sure what are we talking about changing? Refresh my memory.
Well, actually, Barbara is the one that brought it up.
Thank you.
She brought it up in labor management, and Candy is absolutely right. I mean, we have language here, and the language is clear, right? That you have to drive 50% of your day has to be operating a vehicle. 50%.
I know, that's a lot, and I'm not sure I can answer whether Barbara has anybody that would qualify.
Well,
if they do qualify, would you agree that they should get it, right?
Yes, we can have conversation, but I can tell you I did do some research, right?
Okay.
So all the maintenance is over on Canal Street.
Yeah.
So we kind of did, Google Maps, and also, I've been driving for over 30 years, so, and I don't have an issue with it. I just want to make sure that we're giving people rewards that's supposed to get the money versus, somebody's getting it that don't supposed to get it. So worst scenario for them is 23 minutes. And no, worst scenario is 100 miles, I apologize. And to 23 miles. So what I did was took the farther school south, farther school east, west, and north in every direction. So we came up with 100 miles to 23 miles. I don't have an issue with it, and I would like to, if I could, request some data for who, is it anyone in maintenance receive the Safe Driving Award? So basically, how many employees from that department that receive it?
Okay.
And then I kind of have a question. So, and this would be for all departments, and maybe Candy can answer it for me. Do you guys have a safe driving plan for your travelers?
No, we do not.
Okay.
It's something we have to work on.
Okay. So that is what I came up with. I kind of came to that conclusion, but I wanted to make 100% sure. So my question is, Rob, why is only transportation following the safe driving plan? Because whoever is driving a vehicle, they supposed to follow the same plan because it's not specific to bus operators.
I don't have a clear answer. I'm gonna find out. It's a good question. I mean, the safe driver plan applies, I'm assuming, not just to transportation. So I don't know if Candace has to come up with one. I think they need to just simply follow the one that's in place and approved by the board.
Yes.
So let me find out. I also will endeavor to find out, and Kevin maybe can help with seeing if anybody's gotten the award from maintenance, but I'm thinking not. I'm thinking Barbara wanted to get in on this But they can be in on it if someone drives it more than 50% of the time. I'm just not sure that's the case in maintenance, so,
Right.
yeah.
So like I said, when I start doing this research, on this, because of maintenance, I just found a lot of disturbing information. And it's like overwhelming, right? So for a bus driver, right, and this plan, again, is not specific to bus drivers. It talks about, the plan, and it's the same language in the contract book. This is what bus operators have to, basically, go through. So bus drivers have to take random drug tests and alcohol tests. They also, if they get in an accident, safety has to come out, right? A supervisor in the safety department has to come out. If they get an accident, if they get a ticket in their own personal vehicle, they're supposed to report that within 48 hours. If they receive points with the district, they only lose 1 point per year, right? So every time, if they have remaining points, they do not qualify for their Safe Driving Award until their record is completely clear of all of those points. And I ain't gonna go through all of them because there's a lot. All of their accidents have to go through our safety department, which we have a committee, right? And I know no other department accidents come through that committee because I actually sit on the committee. And I just don't understand why we have the bus drivers are going through, all of this, all of these procedures, and they're the only one. My thing is, and we should talk about it more, if the bus drivers have to go through all of these procedures because of that reward, then the same plans and the same point systems that's put in place should be, everyone else that gets the reward should be held to the same standards.
Rob?
Yeah, I understand Arlisa's point. I do think a number of things, because of a CDL and driving a school bus, are governed by the Department of Transportation. And so there are things that they're required to do that are required by federal law, whereas driving a white fleet for the district, and in some cases, some of those same rules wouldn't apply. I do know, I will just tell you that safety-sensitive positions, and certainly Fernando can comment, are randomly drug tested in the district, safety-sensitive positions. So one of which could be included driving a school bus, or a vehicle. So, I'm not sure, I disagree with you that if they're gonna share the safe driver plan, there should be the same rules. So, the problem is, we're talking about 10, which is part of compensation, but the plan itself is a different document. So, which I frankly don't even have in front of me right now. So, I think the policy, yeah, it's not in the contract, is it, Elise?
Yes, actually, part of it is in the contract.
Right, part of it is.
The proportion, I think, page 47.
Okay.
I'm sorry, nope, wrong page. Page 42.
Yeah, no, I have that part of it, but
Okay, the safe driving plan, you mean?
well, I have what makes someone eligible for it, the driving time and the employment status and preventable accidents, but isn't there,
Yeah.
the plan has a whole bunch of stuff in it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have it, and I can actually email it to you.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, clarifications, story about the safe driving plan?
Just say something else.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is something that, even back when Will was here, which isn't that long ago, but this was something we needed to talk about more. Yeah, because there's a lot of vagaries and things like that, and now we have other departments sharing in it, so I do need to look at it.
Laura, the safe driver plan, yep?
Yeah, safe driver.
Yes, we're still on it, one of those food. Any other comments, questions, concerns about safe driver plan? We need to move on to a different topic. We're still on compensation.
So Rod, is this one of the things, Rob, that we can put on also to discuss at labor management further?
Yeah, sure, but I would like to bring it back here. I think we do need to, I need to spend more time with it, frankly, and see how it might apply, along with Christine, to other folks.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, thank you.
you're welcome.
So we're still on,
did you want to talk about incentives? Did you say something about that to me today? No, okay.
okay, so we're still on Article 10, compensation. Anyways, with your safe driver.
Yeah, there was some conversation, I think, from Barbara about incentives for certain types of certifications and things in maintenance, but I can't speak to that without her here. I'm sorry. And transportation also, and Roger's here, so.
All right.
Had to do with the hazmat.
Yeah, we'll bring this down to you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
We don't pass a hot mic.
Yes, and I do know Barbara has some more, so she definitely will have to speak to it. As far as transportation is concerned, we've asked for a stipend for the mechanics and shop supervisors to go ahead and get their hazmat certificate, their license endorsement for the hazmat. So that's been out there. So hopefully we'll be able to get a stipend. I don't think anybody disagrees with that. It's just coming up with the fine print, so to speak, and I don't think there was an issue with barbs either. But transportation is also asking for our people to have stipend.
Just hazmat, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a question, Mr. Lloyd, because I don't remember having a conversation about hazmat. So actually I have two questions. And I guess the first question I need to ask, if it's a stipend, is it gonna come out of transportation's budget, or where is the money coming from?
Yeah, it would have to be budgeted for transportation and would come out of transportation for our stipends for our employees.
Okay, so basically it will come out of the bargaining authority? No?
I don't think so.
No, I would not think so either. I think
Okay.
it's just gonna be a part of our
He
budget.
needs it to just be part of his budget.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't have a problem with that, and I started to say, you didn't have 300 bus drivers this year, so what happened to that money you saved?
Which is a good
No.
question. How many people would you need to get this?
We definitely need, we would like to see at least 10, 12, 15. We're gonna open it up to the mechanics. In a state of emergency, any CDL licensed driver can drive a tanker truck. This is really for other situations where there's not a state of an emergency. But it does come at a cost to anybody who has a hazmat endorsement. You got a physical that you gotta keep up with, you have testing, you have fingerprinting. For the hazmat, you actually have to go through a federal background check that takes months. It's not just a quick, we'll do a fingerprint and come back to you. So it does come at a cost to the employees. And if we're asking, and we as a district are asking our employees to do that, we most definitely should give them some kind of stipend or incentive to do so. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking at mechanics Because if there's an issue with the tanker itself, when you go to dispense fuel, if there's an issue, that the mechanics and the shop supervisors are trained not only to drive the vehicles, but they're also trained to make sure the mechanics and everything else is working correctly on that tanker, so they can dispense fuel without issue. To have a driver get there and then have a problem with the hose, with the nozzle, with the tanker supply fuel itself, isn't a good thing. That's why we're looking to target our mechanics and our shop supervisors. We have a mechanic who is getting ready to take his test, has passed the background check. As far as I know, he was planning to get that scheduled and go. I have a shop, he's actually the supervisor of shops, all the shops. He has actually passed all the tests, but he is now, it's been over a month now that he's waiting for the background check from the federal government to come back and say he's safe to drive that. So we have 2 that are in the works, nobody yet, but I also have mechanics and people that are willing to do it if it comes with a stipend and we're paying for that.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Therese, do you have a question?
Yes, so I.
Arlise. Yeah, I saw her like.
So, Mr. Lloyd, I want to ask you a question. So the 2 people that is in the process, have they paid for that out of pocket? And are you looking to reimburse them for the out-of-pocket costs?
That would be up to the district if it was allowable. Yes, the answer would be. The mechanic, actually, he has started the process even before we've asked, because he has a second job, actually in the summer. He transports fireworks, and he can't do that without a hazmat. So he was doing that on his own anyway. So that's why he's so far into this process as it is. Now, the supervisor of garage operations, when he knew that we didn't have anybody, he took it upon himself to go ahead and do that. Short answer, I'd love to see that paid, yes, but I don't know if I have the authority to do so.
Okay, and so how will they, meaning the mechanics, who will choose them, whether they do it or not, right? So what if you have 30 people and you're just gonna sponsor 15? So who would make the decision?
We would base it most likely on seniority. So we being shop foremans, going through there, shop supervisors, as far as how many do we think we need. You'd like to think during hurricanes, it's great to have that, but if you have young kids at home, you might not be available. You might be getting your kids, your wife, you might be heading out of town. So it is a commitment. You know this. You've driven buses through the worst of times after the storms for us. A lot of people would like to help, but they know they're not going to be around. So we would definitely, like I said, we had a sign-up sheet a couple of years ago. People signed up, and then depending on the numbers, we would take a look at seniority.
Okay, and when you say, so it's for.
Before you move on, let me just say something. I bet. I just want to.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, I just want to put out there that who would be eligible to receive the stipend would be something we have to bargain. So, just want to make that clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and I think this is the last thing, Ms. Lloyd. See, when you start talking, then, you know, my brain starts blowing. So when you're talking about hazmat though, you're talking about all, because you did use fuel for example, but it's all hazardous situations, correct? So like if we have another outbreak of COVID or anything like that, they will be actually, because I know when we, was going through the COVID thing or whatever, we had to actually wait to get our buses fumigated and all that. So when they go through this whole procedure, will they be qualified, like if we have another pandemic, to do the quarantine and all that of the buses?
The hazmat endorsement actually gives you the legal right to transport any hazardous material. For us, that hazard material is gonna be fuel. That's what it's gonna be. But when the federal government looks like ammunition, fireworks, I wanna say, I'm sure there's fertilizers that are considered hazardous material. For our purpose here in the school district, really, we're only looking at the fuel. It'll be unleaded and diesel fuel. So that's what we're looking at for the hazmat.
Okay, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, any more questions, comments, clarifications, anything we want to talk about with safe driver? I don't want this to occur. Bust down karaoke.
No, I think what we'll do is bring something forward. More tangible, no. We have a session Monday, so more tangible with language that, and thank you, Mr. Lloyd, because he has been talking to me about this for quite some time, so, and then we'll get with Barbara to see where she's at with stipends for certain things.
So anything else about Article 10, compensation? I know Laura's been down there.
I have some data requests based upon the conversation that I have already had for Barbara, that we already had. So I have some requests for data because I'm just, let me see. So in the maintenance department, I would like to know actually how many people, and whether those are regular employees or scheduled in, how many people have a state certification or a state license?
You said in maintenance?
Yes.
Or at least, I know this is silly, but just to clarify, you mean in the job they're working in, right? Okay. So if they're certified as an accountant, but they work as a carpenter, you don't care about the accountant? Okay.
Or at least you said state certification or what else?
Or license.
Or license.
Yeah, but sometimes you can have, a state certification and then sometimes it's license. And I'd like to know of those people, how many are scheduled in? Got it.
I got you. Did you have more than one? I was asking.
Brad's got a comment.
Yeah, just regarding which are legitimate requests, no problem. It's just, I don't know if that's data we keep in PeopleSoft. So it may involve asking people. So if it was PeopleSoft, we could get it for you real quickly. So I'll let you know.
Okay,
All right.
yeah, I asked some people, but I was just giving you the opportunity
Okay.
to see if I was correct or not.
Oh,
I got
okay.
the information right, yeah, but we already kind of interviewed people or whatever, but we
Got
just
it.
wanted to match what we already know with the data.
Got it, okay.
Did you only have the one data request?
And
By contract type, how many employees in maintenance have state certifications or licenses?
And you want to buy,
rather they're scheduled in.
Scheduled in or?
Yeah, that's it. I got you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
what else do we have about this?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. What's sort of the elephant in the room is the fact that we have the 5% out there. So I don't know, I heard SPALC's reaction last time. I'm not sure if their position has changed. There's been several days since that last session. So, and if it hasn't, understood. I just want to kind of leave here knowing, that's all.
Well, if you want to know if we're still in shock or not, we are. We do have, so me and Lois had a conversation, so since Lois is not here, and she's our chief negotiator, we do have information, we also have a slideshow, and so she will be back on Monday, and we were gonna present all that stuff on Monday.
Perfect, thanks, Arlise, okay.
Maybe not exactly what you're looking for, but we're gonna present your budget.
Well, no, it's bargaining, I get it, it's all good.
Thank you.
Laura, did you have something you wanted to add tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah, Laura wanted to, and I'm not for sure if I'll make sure she's, I'm correct when I give her the information. She wants to ask a question about, incentive. Can she talk on that since we're on compensation? Okay.
Okay, the question is turnaround schools.
Yes.
TALC gets incentives for work in turnaround schools. How come SPALC does not? Because they are the support and they do everything extra for a turnaround school. This is the question that's out there and it's been asked.
And I think a legitimate question. It's not something that has ever been presented itself by either party at SPALC bargaining, frankly, but I think it's a legitimate question. I mean, those people work in schools that are turnaround schools. So if that's a conversation you're all willing to have, so are we. I will tell you that typically with TALC, it has been part of the bargaining authority. So if there's this desire to head down that road, which I applaud you for, that money is not a separate pot of money. So that has to be considered.
So that's not a separate pot of money, you're saying?
No, I think there was a statement made at our last session, though, I want to clarify, Dr. Desmore told TALC that the money for turnaround schools for fiscal year 25 has already been figured into their budget. But that's just for TALC. So it's not part of their bargaining authority this year. And I see Kerr here and I want to make sure, but I think that was my recollection. Yes, okay. All right, but in the past, it has been part of bargaining authority.
Can I step out of the box?
Yes.
I do have some history to that. When we first started this, it was, I forget what we called it, Opportunity School, I can't remember what we called it. Part of the staff, it's part of the TIF grant. So that was designated solely for teachers. So that's, when we went back, the inception of this incentive, it was funded through a separate grant, which has since expired.
So I would just, I'm reiterating what I already said. I think it's a worthwhile discussion. I mean, I think everybody that works in turnaround schools does their part and deserves probably to be remunerated for that. So I think it's a worthwhile discussion.
Arlise? Oh, Patrice. So you taking peace signs now, or what are we doing here?
I'm not counting anymore. For those of us that don't know what TIF is, what is that?
I'm sorry, TIF was a Teacher Incentive Fund grant we had, I think we got it in 13, and it sunsetted about 18.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Do we know how many turnaround schools we have?
Yes, I don't have the, oh gosh, yes.
I don't have the TALC contract in front of me. I can pull it up, but thanks. I don't want to guess. So we have turnaround schools and transition schools, and they each get different amounts.
workarounds for transformation.
Yeah, so, thanks, Carter. The turnaround schools, which are $4,000 for the teachers there, are Fort Myers Middle, Franklin Park, Tice, East Lee County High School, Colonial Elementary, Edgewood, Island Coast High School, G. Weaver Hips, and Manatee. Is that how many that is? Yeah. And then the transition schools are, which is $2,000, Ravy, James Stevens, Mirror Lakes, Orange River, and Sunshine.
How many was that, 6 girls, 5? 5. 5.
Now I know
1,
5.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Okay, so if we're gonna look into this, we're gonna have to know the cost. So can I put in for another data request
Yeah.
to see how many support staff would receive that money at each one of those schools?
Well, basically, you just need to know how many support staff are at each school, right? Because I'm assuming you would want all of them to receive it? I don't know.
Everybody, no, not all, because I mean, we love our people, but like custodial, cafeteria, whatever, those are not, because basically the teachers are working with these kids, right, one-on-one. When the students are going in the cafeteria, they are being assisted by their teachers, right, or either the paraprofessionals, okay, but is somebody there to monitor the kids and it's not the cafeteria workers, correct? Okay, but instructional support is supposed to be the ones that watch the kids at, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, and then, what I really want.
We can just give you a breakdown of the support staff at those
Yeah,
schools. Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
who's all involved,
Yeah.
you know, with the children, actually. Because that, we're gonna have to have further conversation, but that's what makes sense to me right now in my mind, the people that's actually working with the children.
Oh, I'll go on the record saying that if the district is going to bargain something like this, we would support all of the support staff in the school receiving it. Even a custodian impacts kids in some way, so that's at first blush.
Turnaround and transition. Transition.
Rob, I have a question. So, like, can you tell us just for, and I know that it have to be, something, we have to bargain for it, right? But just like, cause I'm like a visual person, can you just give us like, is there any way that another data request, I guess, can we have some kind of like dollar amount? Like for the 9 schools that's at 4,000 and for the 5 schools that's at 2,000, can we get like a dollar amount, what that's gonna cost in total? Or,
Well, I think first of all, we have to figure out what you want or what we think is an appropriate amount of money for those folks to receive. I mean, 4,000 and 2,000 is the amount that teachers receive. I don't know if that's what you all want your people to receive. I mean, and I'm not sure how affordable that is, so, which I think is the question you're asking. So, I think it's simple math once we know the numbers.
absolutely, and
Yeah.
and I understand we gotta agree on all of that,
Yeah.
but I just need to see a dollar amount, you know what I'm saying, to see
Yeah.
if it's even gonna work.
I mean, if we have 10 people at $1,000, it's
Right.
pretty simple math, or at $2,000, or at 3, so.
Okay.
But I don't know the raw numbers of support staff at each one of those schools, so that's what we have to find out.
Okay, thank you.
So any other questions, comments, clarification, story about the turnaround incentive? Seeing some sidebars, do we have some more questions or comments or clarification about something? No? Do we have any other things to discuss this evening?
I'm not certain we do.
Okay.
But I know now that we have to get some data, so, and have some topics for conversation on Monday. But I'm not here just to sit here. If we have things to talk about, that's
Right.
great, but I don't know if I would complain that we're done at 5:30 or not, so that's up to Arlise.
Elise?
I think we're good. We need the data, we need Lois, and like I said, we have a presentation on Monday. So if we don't have anything else to discuss, I'm good with ending.
Do we want Teresa Bowen to check in? She's got here.
It's okay.
No, it's okay, Teresa, I'm just kidding. No. That was just, yeah. Thank you. Teresa's here, we're done. It's over.
Record, she's here though.
Yes, she is. We'll take care of that. Okay. All right, with that, we got a couple orange circles right off the bat. I appreciate that. I appreciate the hard work and the collaboration, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, everyone. See you Monday.
What a bit of found time.